Hi guys! Cheers to everyone who is watching.
Cheers.
This is our extended version of the podcast. So we're going to get Dan Marie to actually answer some of your questions that you listeners wrote into us, which I totally appreciate. So we had a natural consensus. There was a few people who actually wanted to know, is the partner I'm with my one true love? So that's one question. And then another one, which was multiple, it was the same thing. Where will I end up in the future in regards to my living, my lifestyle, and my career?
Okay.
Is the path that I'm on the right one, and will it lead me to success? So those were the general questions.
Multiple people asked those questions.
Okay. That was, quite a bit.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're able to answer that generally.
Yeah.
Or it's, and I guess, how does that work for you?
What I'll do is I'll do one reading.
Yeah.
Because energy is energy, right?
Yeah.
So, hold on. Forgive me. There will be moments where I pause because I have to sort of align with the energy and ask what it is that I'm supposed to do in order to make sure that everyone's
I always
questions
like watching
answered.
spiritual people because it's always like, yes, okay. All right, let's do this. So, girl, I got my little sippy. I hope we're watching you. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay, yeah. So I will do more of a general reading, but specifically with those questions in mind.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm going to start here, actually. So I always kind of start with a little bit of a prayer, so to speak, but I will that these messages allow for everyone that is wanting to receive an answer or a message to receive it in clarity and with love.
Clarity and with love.
With love. Always clarity, because who wants to be unclear?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't want to be in a gray zone.
I want to know.
I do not want to be in a gray zone.
Mm-hmm.
So these cards that I have here are actually, they're not tarot cards, they're actually arcana, major arcana. So it's kind of like taking the human psyche, breaking it up into 1,000 pieces, and then using that in order to read someone's energy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then after this, we're going to get her to read Hasina.
It'll be my first reading ever.
Wow, I wonder what we gonna soup up today.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because usually when people come in thinking that they're wanting an answer, what the divine offers them is something entirely different, but exactly necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, you just already pulled a card. What's that?
So the card that I'm receiving for everyone, and actually I'm kind of getting that it's also for you too, Hasina, but we'll wait for later, is the Forest. Can I show everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go nice and close.
Can I, wait for it. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah. So you can take a look too.
Mm-hmm. The forest. This does speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is my happy place.
Exactly. So the forest energy is, it has a lot to do with solitude, it has a lot to do with silence, and it has a lot to do with transformation. There's a journey. I'm going to say you, and when I say you, I'm meaning whoever is receiving from it, right? So you, right? It's also me. I also receive a lot. Okay. So what it is that is being sort of offered here is that the journey that you're on is one that is coming from it's like a multitude. It's like a varied experience where there's lots of little, or maybe big, I don't know how big they are, but there are a lot of different things, a lot of different paths, a lot of different subjects, for instance. So it's kind of like taking a look at the colorfulness of your life and of you, and bringing it into, this is the energy that I'm feeling, like it's all this, and you're wanting to sort of focus and bring everything into one direction. Okay. The energy of the forest has a lot to do with the journey towards the self, which is the journey into the mountain, the internal space. Mm-hmm. Okay. Obviously, you find the mountain in the forest, right? So you gotta go through the forest. You know what I mean? Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And actually, I'm just realizing that the numerology of this card is the 36. Mm-hmm. And a 3 and a 6 are incredibly spiritual numbers. and together they make up 9. So this has to do quite literally with the evolution of your soul coming into your soul's purpose. So if your question is or was having to do with, are you on the right path? Yes. So this is right.
You're doing good, guys.
You're doing good. But however, the areas and the parts that you're missing, because if you can see, the way that this card is illustrated, there's like tiny little spots that aren't painted within the colorfulness, right? There's aspects of you that you haven't quite either, you don't understand, or they haven't been filled in yet, so to speak. So this is about your journey towards yourself so that you're able to fill in those gaps and make the picture whole. Okay.
Yeah.
It might have to do with another person, but not necessarily. And now, of course, I'm reading for lots of people, right? So you have to take what resonates.
Yeah.
This is for you guys listening as well, or watching as well. You have to take what resonates. If you're questioned or you're wondering about someone, you may receive that here. If you're wondering about something, you also may receive it through the same words. So you have to apply it to yourself, so to speak. If it feels like something you have to make up, then it ain't for you.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense? If you're gonna be like, ooh, well, such and such
Yeah,
said this.
if you're reaching for something,
yeah, like,
you're
no.
just like, it's not.
It's not.
Don't write
right.
the story,
Come
just
on.
receive what you receive,
Okay.
right?
So in regards to the love question,
Mhm.
everyone who asked if I was with the right person,
Mm-hmm.
is this going to be like my one true love?
Mm-hmm.
Does that factor into that, or do you need to pull another card for the love question?
I'm going to pull another card for the love question out of the tarot because that gives me much more of a distinct, obvious thing.
Yeah.
However, the path that you're on, so the person that you're with, if you're with a person, yes, for right now, that person is the correct person who's going to allow you to learn the lessons that you need to learn in order to move forward toward this internal journey.
Okay, so he's Mr. Right Now.
Right? He could be. He might be Mr. Right Now for
might
next
be
week, too.
Mr. for
We
right
don't
now.
know. Right? The
But
crazy
in this present moment, you's on the right path.
Exactly. The
Y'all
crazy
doing
thing,
good.
the crazy thing about the divine is that it's reading the energy right now. In 2 weeks from now, tomorrow, it could be different.
Yeah.
Reading this or getting this reading, for instance, might allow for you to switch paths.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's reading what's right now and
Mhm.
giving you the energy or the information that you will need in order to make the best choice for
Got
you
it.
moving forward.
Yeah.
No.
So, hold on one sec. Yeah. So there's this thing in the middle or at the bottom of the card. It kind of reminds me of a diamond, like a dark, like a green diamond. It kind of looks green.
I was gonna say,
It does
looks
look like a tent.
Yeah.
But for me, so this is why it's interpretation, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
you guys receive it as a tent. I'm seeing it as a diamond, even though I know it's a tent.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Right?
Got you.
The gem within that thing that's your va-va-voom, that thing that that allows for you to shine is what you are trying to sort of hone, what you're trying to polish. And what is needed at this point is a more what's the word? A more directed, a more intentional, an on-purpose practice that allows for you to experience something that's a little bit more like, I hate to use the word religion, but by religion I just mean repetitiveness.
Yes.
I mean
Okay.
discipline,
Okay.
really.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's needed right now is a directed, intentional course of action or set of behaviors that allows for you to receive clarity. And by clarity, I just mean feeling great. Feeling like, okay, today's a new day. I'm going to do this. Whatever's on your plate,
Yeah.
you're feeling prepared for it.
Right.
Okay.
Right? So the energy within you right now needs to shift more to a directed energy. You might be focusing your energy in different places. It's time to kind of hone in on yourself. If your question especially is about love, you're not going to find that answer unless you focus on you.
Right.
Focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to...
Okay, so next one is going to be the love. People who ask questions about, am I with the right person right now? Am I going to find true love? That is the card that she's going to be pulling for you guys.
Dun, 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 dun,
The
dun.
love
What's it gonna be?
card.
It's funny. Is it this one? No. Okay. Sometimes I talk to myself. I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to spirit. So, forgive me. I can come off crazy.
Don't apologize.
Whatever is your process.
Right? Oof.
Oh gosh, that didn't sound good.
Well, it's a mixed message because this card for me always gives me either one or the other.
Okay.
So, the energy of that person, that, you know, that perfect person for me, it's actually being blocked from you right now. And the reason why it's being blocked from you right now is because you are not who you're supposed to be in order to match that person.
Ooh.
Spilling the tea. That's deep.
that.
That's some deep stuff. Because
Whoever asked that question, you gotta
got
find
more
yourself.
work to do. You got
Work
more
on you.
work to
Right.
do.
That was bars
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Keep going.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Going.
There
That
isn't.
is so
No,
true.
There isn't. That's actually a really amazing place to be, because when you're in a space of learning to focus on you, you'll actually find that the people around you, including your lover or potential lovers, right, always kind of tend to shift. Either the person changes,
Yeah.
or the person's behavior changes, or their energy changes,
Right.
right? The person themselves, it might be Bob and tomorrow is Fred.
Yeah.
Or
Their wants
Bob
and
might
needs.
decide that he feels more like Fred now, and now
Yeah.
he's going to act like Fred.
All right.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be different, right? So it's funny because I truly don't like to read love, because this is usually the type of energy that the divine likes to offer is,
Yeah.
girl, look at you first, or dude, look at you 1st, right? And this is literally it. Right now, the energy of you knowing with clarity that the person that you're with or the person you're dating is the right person, it's going to come to you. Right now, the clarity is being blocked because you are not in a position to be able to offer yourself the partnership that you would even want in return from that other person.
It goes back to questioning, would you date you
Right.
right
Yeah.
now? And I feel like this card kind of symbolizes even what we were talking about, and like trying to figure out what your therapy is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like it's very, timing is such a big aspect of relationships, because it's like exactly what you said. It's like, I wasn't the right person back then for
Yeah.
that person, but now as you grow and you change and you become somebody else, you're just like, yeah, if I, like, it never would have worked out with that person because I was a different person at that time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right? So
Exactly.
it's like, yeah, that's definitely, yeah, that's deep. Everyone
some
goes
deep
through
stuff.
like a metamorphosis, and it's like, I feel like those perfect relationships happen when two people meet each other at the right times
time
in their life.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Where
Exactly.
you're both like ready and willing to commit and do the work with each other
And
and
receive.
you know, personally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Vulnerable, be vulnerable. That's a
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
one too. I think that it's really everybody always thinks that life is this way, and I won't say what it is because everyone thinks it's different. But whatever way you think life is, I promise you, the divine has a different
Yeah.
story or a different, you know,
Perception.
perspective.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I've learned, especially through reading cards, is that everything is a reflection of you. Everything.
Yeah.
So if you are questioning whether or not the person before you is right or wrong for you, it's because you haven't even decided if you're right or wrong for you. You haven't decided if what you're doing is right or wrong for you. There's an aspect of you that you haven't clarified, because
Wow.
if you were living your truest purpose and being yourself intentionally every single day, you would only attract those types of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I think about the block, it's like our egos always get in our way.
Oh, 100%.
And if you're at a point where you're
That
starting
ego.
to recognize that Mr. Ego or Mrs. Ego is getting in your way,
Yes.
then it's probably you that
Yes.
needs to do
100%.
some soul searching, some fixing. It's not a bad thing. So me pointing the finger right now, it's not a bad thing.
No.
You just gotta, just figure it out for yourself.
You're gonna
Yes,
turn
yes.
every time. And that's what this is. It's like, it's almost like the divine is saying, no, you don't get an answer. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
Because this journey is still occurring right now.
Yes.
You've just hit the break of where the forest begins and the road ends, and you can't even see the mountain.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Guys,
you can't even see the damn mountain
There's
you're
no
supposed to
shame.
climb.
There is no shame in the growth game.
Right.
Yeah.
Be where you are and be comfortable where
Yes,
you are.
be okay with that.
Yeah.
And allow for whoever's in your life, if there's someone in your life, to serve the purpose they're meant to serve. If their purpose is to hurt you, then that's what's supposed to happen, and it doesn't matter what you do or how many tarot cards you read, they're meant to hurt you, and they will. If they're meant to support
That
you
sucks.
and build you up, that's what they will do.
Yeah.
Every person, everything in your life is placed in your life perfectly, even if it doesn't seem that way.
Right.
And so the reason why you can't know this right now is because you are not in a position to be able to receive the information and even believe it.
That's deep.
There's a lot of, what I'm feeling is there's a lot of, I call it dual vibrations. So it's like, I love myself and I think I'm really awesome and I wear beautiful makeup and I do my nails and I drink a glass of wine because like it makes me feel good every night, but I also date that guy and he treats me like shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Self-love, but not really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's an energy that's doing good, but then you also have on the same subjects this other energy. And so now you're creating both. There isn't a distinct direction.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to, it's about recognizing how to bring everything together in one direction versus, you can't be hot and cold at the same time.
So the moral of the story is that there's still more soul searching to be done.
Yeah, I think that's the theme that the universe is.
Yeah, and be comfortable with the journey, because the journey is the part that's beautiful. Whether or not you're with someone that you'll be with for the rest of your life, there could be amazing things and moments, experiences that you can have with that person. And so being in the present moment, recognizing that the journey is the part that's supposed to be enjoyed, not the destination. If anything, if the destination is the part that's great, then we're all waiting for death.
Yeah.
And that's just silly.
I'm gonna drink that
Why are we waiting for the end for? It's supposed to be the journey. It's supposed to be, perhaps you have an argument with someone, but from the argument you learn something about yourself. You know what I mean? So there's always a sense of you being gifted, even if the experience is rotten. And at this point, what's more important for all of the people who have asked questions about love specifically is to focus on the fact that right now is the journey. And you're supposed to just enjoy it. And if you find somebody in your realm that is not helping you to enjoy it, bye, Felicia. With love. I send you on.
The time we had was great.
Exactly.
But this is where the road ends for the both of us.
Exactly. And being confident in making those decisions for yourself. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people might be leaving their fate in the hands of others versus taking it, into their own hands.
Yeah. Well, here you guys have it. I hope Jamboree answered all your questions.
That was a lot, y'all. I hope you were listening.
Yeah.
So cheers to that, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to us on the Potty Line. Bye.
You guys are so awesome.
And you can stop it.
Okay. Just making sure.